Good morning students, and welcome back in our video lecture with the same topic, separation of substances. So in my previous video lecture we have studied about what is mixture, then what are the two types of mixtures. Also we have studied about what is the need of separation of mixture. So who will tell me what are the two types of mixtures? Yes, homogeneous mixture and heterogeneous mixture. These are the two types of mixtures. And what are the properties of homogeneous and heterogeneous mixture, that we have already discussed. Also we have discussed about many examples of that both type of mixtures. So what is the need of separation of mixture, students? To get useful substances, to remove harmful substances, and also to get desirable products. This is the need of separation of that mixture. So also in my previous video lecture I told you about mixture may be made up of two or more solids. Sometimes it is made up of two liquids also, or one solid and one liquid, or sometimes liquid and gas also. So depending upon which type of components are there, many types of methods of separations are there. So today we are going to study about the method of separation for the mixture in which both the substances or the substances present in the mixture are in solid state. So first tell me examples of such type of mixtures in which both the substances are solid. Yes, sugar and sand. Here sugar and sand both are in solid state. Rice, wheat, pulses. In these grains stones are there. So both are in solid state. Then sand and larger particles of sand. So it is also example of solid and solid. So today we are going to study how to separate this solid and solid mixture. So the simplest method to separate this solid and solid mixture is hand picking, because we are using this hand picking method. Means in our daily life we are continuously using this method. So it is the simplest method of separation of substances. This method is used only when unwanted material is in small quantity. Moreover, shape, size or color of unwanted material is different from that of the useful material. For example, pebbles, broken grains and insects are separated from rice, wheat and pulses by hand picking. So, your mother daily she is doing this activity. Means whenever she is going to cook rice, first what will she do? She just separate small stones. If insect is there, she just pick by hand and just remove out. So this is the simplest method, hand picking. But this method we can use when only unwanted material is in small quantity. When we are talking about rice, wheat or any grains, then these small stones are present in small quantity. That's why we can easily just remove out by hand picking. And one more thing is the shape, color and size of that impurity is completely different from that of that rice or pulses, whatever. So in this case hand picking method is very useful. So where we use hand picking method? When the useful substance says are in larger quantity and the unwanted material is in smaller quantity, and also the shape, size and color of unwanted material is different from the useful material. Example is pebbles or small stones which are separated from rice, wheat and pulses. Okay, so this is hand picking method. So what is hand picking method? It is the simplest method of separation of substances. This method is used only when unwanted material is in small quantity. Moreover, shape, size or color of unwanted material is different from that of useful material. For example, pebbles, broken grains and insects are separated from rice, wheat and pulses by hand picking. So second method for solid and solid mixture separation is sieving. Also we are continuously using this sieving at our home. Your mother just use this process to separate some larger particles, some husk, some some unwanted material is present in wheat flour, that she can separate by using that sieve. So this sieving is the process of separation which allows fine particles to pass through the holes in the sieve, while the bigger impurities remains on the sieve. when we sieve any wheat flour, whatever, then what happens? Small fine particles are just easily passed through that holes which are present on the sieve, and larger particles or unwanted material remains as it is on the sieve. There are varieties of shapes of that sieves are available in market. So you can use any type of sieve depending upon your your need. Okay, then third process. So how will you define this sieving? Sieving is the process of separation which allows the fine particles to pass through the holes in the sieve while the bigger impurities remains on the sieve. One more example related to this sieving. So have you seen any construction site? Means whenever where building construction is going on, have you seen there is also one type of sieve which is rectangular in shape, and that sieve is used to separate fine sand from larger mixed sand. Means sand consists of larger particles, small pebbles, stones are there, and for construction fine particle of sand is required. That's why there is also a sieve. You can see in the picture this type of sieve is have you seen this type of sieve? At construction site you can see this type of sieve. This type of sieve is used to separate fine sand and larger sand from each other. Okay, so this is also a use of sieving in our daily life. Then third process is threshing. So what do you understand by threshing? So student, have you seen grains? So when we are you can see in the picture, stem is there, and at the upper side of stem that chaff is there, and on that upper side grains are just attached to that upper side. So how to separate this grain from this stem? So one method is there which we call threshing. So threshing is the method in which these small grains are just separated from the stem by applying pressure. So how to apply pressure? How this threshing is done? You know about threshing? What is threshing? So threshing is the process in which that small grains are separated by from their stems. Means they just beat that stem, and then by beating, what will happen? After beating, that grains are just separated from that stem. So threshing is the process in which stems of wheat or paddy are beaten to separate grains from the stems and from the chaff, and that covers the grain. Okay. So when this you can see in the picture, this threshing is done by manually also, and also by machines we can do this threshing. If the grain, the proportion means the amount of grain is larger, then we can do it by machine. Otherwise it is done by manually. Okay. Then when we just do threshing, then what will happen? Along with grains, some husk, some lighter particles are there. Then how to separate these husks, these lighter particles, unwanted material from grains? So next method is there to separate this solid and solid mixture, which is winnowing. So winnowing is the process of separation of the heavier component from the lighter component of mixture by wind or by blowing air. So you can see in the picture how that lady separate that lighter particle from heavier particle. So by doing this simple method, we can separate lighter particles from heavier particle, because what happens, as air blows or as a wind comes, then what will happen, that lighter particles just flow away, blown away, and heavier grains just fall down. They are just fall down and they are separated from each other. So winnowing is the process to separate lighter particle from heavier particle. Okay. So today we have discussed about hand picking, which is the simplest method of separation. Then also we have discussed about sieving, threshing and winnowing. So these four methods are there. Again I repeat all process. First tell me what is hand picking. So hand picking is the simplest method of separation. This method is used only when unwanted material is in small quantity and shape, size or color of the unwanted material is different from that of useful material. So example is a separation of stone from rice, wheat, pulses. Then sieving. What is mean by sieving? Sieving is the process of separation which allows the fine particles to pass through the holes in the sieve while the bigger impurities remains on the sieve. Example is wheat flour, or at the construction site sand get larger particles of sands are separated from fine sand by using this sieve. Then next method is threshing. So what is threshing? In threshing, the stems of wheat or paddy are just beaten and the grain is separated from that stem. Then last one is winnowing. Winnowing is used to separate lighter particles from heavier particles by using wind or by blowing air. So all these four methods are used to separate solid and solid. So student, tell me, magnet is also there. So what do you think? We can we use magnet for this solid separation? Yes, we can use this magnetic separation method, but the impurity or whatever present into that mixture should be magnetic substance. Means if the impurity given in the given mixture is iron, nickel or cobalt, it is made up of iron, nickel or cobalt, means it is made up of magnetic substances, then we can separate it by using magnetic separation method. We can separate iron fillings from sulfur powder or iron fillings from sand by using this magnetic separation. We can just means when we just move a magnet near to that sand, and if iron fillings are there, then what will happen? Iron fillings get stuck to that magnet and we can separate these iron fillings from sand. So we can use magnetic separation also, but the condition should be impurity or unwanted material present in that mixture should be made up of magnetic material or magnetic substances. Okay, so we have discussed about solid separation. I hope you got all points related to solid separation. If you have any doubt, you can ask me. Thank you.